Keith, we had seen these GM workers opt to strike instead of presumably because they couldn't get to the finish line on a deal. Maybe we should remind the audience that while the United Auto Workers had decided to deal with each of the big three individually as part of this ongoing strike action we're seeing in the United States, the union in Canada opted to reach a deal with Ford. They were able to reach a deal with Ford, and then they were hoping to have similar types of deals lined up with GM and Stellantis, and it would appear that they do have a tentative agreement. What's your reaction?
Yeah, well, so the difference in Canada, they were following the tradition of pattern bargaining. Ford had set the pattern with a 19% raise for younger workers and for veteran workers and a 28% raise for younger workers. GM pushed back on that because they have more younger workers in Canada, and so this contract was going to cost them more than it's costing Ford. But the strike lasted less than a day. They've obviously been able to bridge that gap somehow, and the plants are going to keep running. There was obviously additional pressure on GM because they have this widening strike in the United States. They really couldn't be double struck. They have very important plants in Ontario for both Silverado pickup trucks, their big money maker, as well as large engines coming out of the St. Catharines plant in Ontario that go into GM's cash cow big SUVs.
So will this agreement in Canada and the one that they've made with Ford help the UAW come to a better agreement with the same companies in the United States?
It's hard to tell at this point, Matt. The GM did have a breakthrough, as you might recall, last Friday with the UAW. They agreed to have the future battery plants come under the master contract agreement with the UAW. That's big. It's something that the UAW is going after at Ford and Stellantis as well. But certainly, getting a deal in Canada takes, one big thing off GM's plate. Ford also has a deal in Canada, so the two of them can now move forward to try and resolve the strike in the United States.